You know that feeling when you see a long algebraic expression and it's got a minus sign just hanging out in front of some brackets? It can look like a total train wreck. But what if I told you the key to solving it, to making it all make sense, is actually a piece of ancient wisdom? Let's dive in. I'm sure you've heard this phrase before, right? It's just a simple idea about how the world works. If you oppose a negative force, you create a positive outcome. And believe it or not, this exact logic, where two negatives make a positive, is the fundamental rule for how negative numbers behave in algebra. It's that simple. Now, this isn't just some clever gimmick. The principle of the opposite of an opposite is precisely how numbers work. When you take the negative of a negative, you land right back in the positive. Once you really truly get that one idea, expanding brackets goes from being a chore to something surprisingly intuitive. Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of this. We're going to start with the friendly plus sign. I want you to think of a plus sign in front of a bracket as a big, friendly, open gate. Whatever's inside can just walk straight on through, totally unchanged. That's really all there is to it. The plus sign is basically giving everything inside the brackets a free pass to join the rest of the expression. It doesn't change a thing. So when you see it, you can just mentally erase the plus sign and the brackets, and what you've got left is your new, simpler equation. And check this out. Here's the rule in action. On the left, we do the math a long way. And yep, we get 2. On the right, we use our open gate rule and just drop the brackets. And look at that, we still get 2. The result is exactly the same. We've just found a much faster way to get there. All right, let's move on to the minus sign. This is the one that causes all the trouble, right? But what if we stopped thinking of it as subtraction and started thinking of it as a portal? A portal to a bizarro world where everything that enters comes out as its opposite. And this is the absolute key difference. Unlike that open gate plus sign, the minus sign is transformative. It doesn't just let things pass. It fundamentally changes every single thing that follows it inside those brackets. It's a gateway to an opposite dimension. I just love how this visualizes the process. You can literally picture each term walking up to the portal one by one. The positive b goes in and comes out as a negative b. The negative c goes in and emerges as a positive c. Everything gets inverted. It's a complete sign flip. Okay, so the Bizarro Portal is a great mental short act for sure. But for that real aha moment, we've got to look under the hood. We need to see the mathematical engine that's actually making this whole thing work. I mean, why does this one little dash have so much power? Is it just some random rule that a mathematician made up centuries ago? Nope. Not at all. There's actually a super elegant and simple reason for its power. And here it is. This is the secret. That little minus sign you see, it isn't just sitting there by itself. It's actually a secret code, a mathematical shorthand for multiply by -1. The expression negative b minus c is really just a cleaner way of writing -1 times b minus c. And this property right here is the fundamental law that makes it all happen. It says you have to distribute the number on the outside to every single term on the inside. So when our outside number is a -1, we have to distribute it to everything. And that's exactly what causes all the signs to flit. You know, this might be my favorite way to picture it. Think of multiplying by -1 as doing a complete 180-degree turn. You're facing forward, you multiply by -1, and boom, you're facing backward. Multiply by -1 again, and you do another 180-degree turn, and you're right back where you started, facing forward. That's it. That's why a minus times a minus is a plus. Okay, so we've got our rules, we've got our metaphors. Let's tackle a problem that looks a little more intimidating. This one's got brackets inside of other brackets. It looks like a mess, but with our rules, we can just peel it like an onion, starting right from the center. Okay, deep breaths. This looks complicated, I know. But the key here is not to get overwhelmed by the whole thing at once. We are going to completely ignore the outside for now and focus only on the deepest, innermost set of brackets first. All right, let's walk through this together. We dive into the very center. See that -3x plus y? That's our Bizarro Portal, so it flips everything inside to become -3x minus y. All of a sudden, the problem looks way less scary, right? Now we distribute that 2 into our new simplified bracket. That gives us 10 minus 6x minus 2y. And for the final step, we just tidy things up by combining the x terms. And just like that, the onion is peeled. Problem solved. So there we have it.
We've gone all the way from a simple proverb to solving a pretty nasty-looking nested bracket problem. We've basically cracked the code. Now let's just step back for a second and make sure we lock in the most important ideas.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that math isn't about memorizing 100 different rules. It's about understanding a few really powerful ideas. If you can just remember the open gate for plus signs and the Bizarro Portal for minus signs, you honestly have the logic you need to solve almost any problem with expanding brackets.
You know, it's such a powerful concept when you start thinking about it. Using a double negative in a sentence, or reversing a reverse gear in a car, you're canceling out an action. Even something like forgiving someone who wronged you. This fundamental logic of opposites canceling each other out isn't just in our math books, it's woven into the very fabric of how the world works. Definitely something to think about.